This guy is pissed off so many people on the internet. So the stay-at-home dad has been going viral, and he's pissed off a lot of people because what happened is he lost his job. He became a stay-at-home dad, and he said, "Yo, this is the easiest job ever." he was like, staying at home and taking care of the house is the easiest fucking job ever. I love it, and like it pissed off a lot of women. So let's watch it.
Stay-at-home dad chronicles. If a stay-at-home mom tries to convince you that her job is hard, no, it isn't. I'm a stay-at-home dad of 5 children, all 7 years old and under, and my life is a vacation. In addition, my kids are homeschooled, so they're here 24/7. I also do all the man work, all the house and car maintenance, taking out the trash, etc., etc. I'm almost 37 years old, and I've had almost every single job there is. Culinary industry, construction, destruction, white collar, warehouse jobs, delivery jobs. I worked at a poultry plant one time, and my job was to stand there for 10 or 12 hours on an assembly line cutting chicken throats with a poncho on. You have any idea how boring that is? Compared to every single one of these jobs, my life now is a vacation. I have a list of things I want to get done that day.
Yeah, keep fucking that chicken, you know? do you guys know keep fucking that chicken? This guy right here.
Looking on Fox 5 Sky Guardian, and then check that 7-day to make your weekend plans.
Takes a tough man to make a tender forecast, Nick.
And I guess that's me.
Keep fucking that chicken.
Okay, I'll do that.
All right, before we
Like,
continue.
what?
Keep fucking that chicken.
They're like trying to play it off.
Okay, I'll do
What does that even mean?
Alright, before we continue.
It's like a classic.
Just want to say I misspoke during last night's newscast. I apologize for my remarks to anyone who may have been offended.
Who cares, man? Who gives a shit? All right. Anyway, let's keep watching this here.
Besides that, I get to do whatever the fuck I want. I don't understand how some of these women have 1, 2, maybe 3 kids, who more often than not have been gone at public school most of the day, chuck their kids like they're cornhole bean bags at their overworked husbands as soon as they walk in the door, or tell them to do shit.
That is true, because they send kids to public school generally.
Around the house. What the fuck have you been doing all day, bro? Some men like to do all that when they come home, and that's cool, but you gotta understand when you're being taken advantage of. Then on top of that, they won't even let them crack most of the time. And that right there is just plain unacceptable.
Wait, what is crack? Wait, what? What does that mean? I don't know slang. What does that mean? What is crack? Wait, is that... Wait, what? When did this happen? When did crack mean sex? When is that? 1980? It's like old? What the fuck? Yeah, I didn't know that. I don't...
Hold on real quick. I want you guys to listen to something.
Nice. That looks like a good turkey. I'm not gonna lie, dude.
If your turkey doesn't sound like that, or it's not this juicy, you didn't do it right. Ladies,
Dude,
just
that
streamline
turkey
your
looks
day
so
and do
good.
your job.
I don't even like turkey, and that looks really good.
Leave that man alone and let him crack. It's that easy. No need to overcomplicate things. Hurry and get me to 50K before my balls start clacking against my ankles.
So actually, this is an interesting, this is very interesting, actually. There's a recent episode of Basecamp. I know I've talked about it already. An episode of Basecamp from, I believe it's this week. I believe this week it came out. I'm just gonna, actually first, why don't we let's watch the counter argument first, because there's like, there's some drama, where people were very mad at him, you know, like women, obviously, very mad. Women with nose rings were very, very angry at this guy. So let's see.
Stay-at-home dad chronicles. No need to overcomplicate things.
I know we don't know each other, but I'm Kendall, and I'm here to your day right up.
Ooh.
See, I'm not a mom, so I have no idea what it's like to be a mother.
Excuse my fucking pardon. What did you say? Apple cider vinegar.
Over 85% of consumer purchases are driven by women, specifically stay-at-home moms.
And who's buying?
Wait, is that? Hold on, wait. I don't think that's the own that you think it is. Hold on. I don't think that's the own you think it is. Saying like women spend all the money. Wait, hold on. Yeah, women be shopping. Yeah, I don't know if that's. I don't know if that's an own, man. That seems like a cell phone. Let her cook herself.
I went through your profile and took notes about every single consumer brand that you have worked with and have sent.
Oh, here we go. Here we go, guys. It's time to contact all the sponsors and bitch about it until like they get removed.
Messages letting them know that one of the
They always have this look too, like this smug, like this fucking like psycho eyes. You know what I mean? Like all the time.
influencers that they work with just came online to shit all over their most valuable audience.
Fucking
No, I didn't.
feral.
Just the ones that were taking advantage. Soy sauce.
And I would also encourage my audience to go ahead and tag all of those consumer brands in the comments
Yup,
of this
there it is,
video.
There it is. Let's brigade let's have everybody brigade the
Over
dude.
and over and over again, just so we can make sure that they're aware of the kind of piece of shit influencer they are associating their brand name with.
Okay, guys, first off, okay, Ninja's really good. I'll admit. Ninja's really good. I don't know about Hexclad, though. I don't know about that one.
That sounds illegal. Is it illegal? Gochujang paste. So to summarize so far, my video, which had fuck all to do with you, you have no credited authority, no experience, you're not a parent.
Yeah, and she said that she's not a parent, right? MNCC, thank you so much for the prime. Thank you.
Offended you. And now you're trying to starve my 5 children and or cause instability in their home.
Yeah.
Even though you make yourself out to be such a humanitarian. Okay.
Every fucking
I
time.
especially want to make sure that everyone tags both Hexclad and Ninja, because those are the 2 most prominent brands that have tied their brand with yours.
I've never been affiliated with Ninja. I did 2 gifting videos for Hexclad, and I got my gifts.
Ninja's pretty good.
Looks
I
like
like
you're an
Ninja.
expert in jack shit. Onion powder.
I like how he's just like casually cooking. Like,
But something tells me it's not going to take very long, buddy, before they won't be doing that any longer.
That
dude,
thing
look,
has-
it's just the smugness, dude. The smugness
Tells
here.
me it's not going to take very long, buddy, before they be doing that any longer.
Just the smugness, man. The nose ring smugness. I know.
Something tells me, buddy, that they're not going to be doing that any longer. You didn't do anything. Molasses. You literally just made me
Molasses.
more money on TikTok. My turkey video was tapped out at about 600,000 views. What's it at now? Like 2 million? Garlic
Damn.
powder.
Have the day you deserve, asshole.
Oh God! Not the day I deserve anything but that. Korean barbecue gochujang seasoning. Turn the heat on low and meld that together.
Oh,
The recipe
yeah?
will be in the comments.
Ooh, it's like a.
Don't you have enough to deal with fucking up your husband's military career? Stupid. Brown sugar. You can't cancel me, Kendall. You can't cancel somebody who doesn't care. You really said I'm not a
Based-
mother, got in front of a camera, and proceeded to bitch about something you know nothing about.
Dude, this guy's more of a mother than she is. How do you get that owned? How do you get that owned? Like, what in the fuck? You know? Like,
Holy insufferable. You had no argument, no rebuttal, just tried to cancel me and starve my children. And you only made me stronger. Shout out to my man Chisha Zed and King T on YouTube. They both
Nice.
have W takes on this. Go show them some love and support.
nice. But yeah, so Hexclad and Ninja Kitchen, this guy's a gem. You should continue to work with him, sign, dude. So true. So true, man. Female aggression manifests through indirect relational social tactics, gossip, innuendo, reputation destruction, rather than physical confrontation. This form of aggression is designed to socially ostracize rivals. Okay, guys, you guys know what would be equality, though? What do you think of this equality? If you participate in female aggression, you should be subject to male aggression. I feel like that's fair, right? That's fair. Yeah, equal rights. Yeah. But anyway, so an interesting thing about this entire case, right, which is we'll wrap it up with here, and then we'll play some Winrose, but over on Basecamp, one of my favorite channels. You guys already know this. I already talked about it. I freaking love Malcolm and Simone, but they did a video. It's a very interesting video. Maybe we'll watch it, but right here, this video right here, man. How women tricked men into doing all the work while still playing the victim. Forbidden history. PSYOP. Did you guys know about this? It's really interesting. Malcolm and Simone both go into a lot of the history behind this, and it's quite interesting. So the story basically is that the idea that women just stayed in the house and took care of the kids is actually not historically true. It was never historically true. It was only recently. It is a very, very recent thing that happened. In fact, if you look through I guess what was it, like the history, if you look through the history of it, women were actually the farmers more than men were. Did you guys know that? Men only started farming and it still actually exists in other countries to this day. And even more recent history. Men only started farming when the plow was invented. Did you guys know that? Because the plow was efficient and required strength. It was the only reason that men started becoming the farmers before women were the farmers. Because historically, okay, you have to think a little bit about like human biology for this to make sense, right? So first off, women biologically are more valuable than men. And I'm not trying to say I'm not trying to make like an asshole statement. I'm talking strictly biologically. And the reason why is because one man can like fuck a bunch of women and get them pregnant. But like one woman needs to exist in order to get pregnant, right? And so what happened because of that is that men undertook more risky maneuvers and like they undertook more risk historically. I'm not making a value proposition as far as like humanity. I'm making a value like it's a biological reality just by numbers. So what happened was women, because of this, took on safe tasks. So low risk, low reward, big grind is basically what women did. And that's what kind of like what women's bodies are built for. So farming and gathering and hunt and like small game hunting were actually what women did back in like historically, if you look into the historical record. And the reason for that is women were taking care of the household. Like when it comes to like actually putting food on the table, it wasn't historically the man who like put all of the food on the table, right? So like that wasn't actually men's job historically, was to like put food on the table. And like they crafted like this entire fucking vision of like women at home, like in the hut, talking with each other, taking care of the kids, and that's it. And then the men like go out and bring back like all of the food and like the giant, like, I don't know, whatever, the mammoth or whatever, they bring it back and then they all eat it. That's not actually what happened. Is historically women provided almost all of the caloric intake of like a civilization, right? But but I'm not saying that men aren't valuable, right? So this is what men did historically. Men's job was to increase was two things. One, well, actually, no, it's actually one thing if you think about it. Men's job was to protect the social standing of the tribe or the family, was to protect the social standing and increase the social standing. So like if you think about this, right, historically, what did men do? They learned to fight. They went for high risk things like, hunting a giant animal that would be like, oh man, like he brought back all this food. That's crazy, right? Like all this fur that we have, all of this shit that we have, like to that we could give to whoever the leader is for like the purposes of war, and men also was the thing. So the crazy hunting, war was the other thing. Men had to go to war to increase the social standing of like their family. Oh, Vikings. They raided people for, again, the social standing, because you would raid people and you would get shit. But it's a high risk activity because you can die, right? But they would go out, they would, go raid people, steal a bunch of shit, right? So anyway, the point is here is historically the dynamic between men and women is that women took care of the household and men were out there hustling in order to increase the value of everybody socially. Does that make sense? Burns and Chess, thank you so much for the sub. So it's basically they were doing high risk, high reward thing. So again, I'm not saying that men were absolutely useless historically, but the idea that women didn't work was just bullshit. So all the trad wife stuff is fake. It is actually. Historically, it's fake. It's more recent. It's more recent that like the trad wife thing happened, like where women basically were like, oh, I just like at home and I don't do anything. It's actually not historically accurate for like almost everywhere in history. In fact, you still see people nowadays, you still see that women do a lot of work, especially in like lower tech societies. Like you have, and the example that Malcolm brought up was that if you go to like, South America or like Africa into like the middle of buttfuck Egypt, you see women that are carrying shit all the time. Like women carrying giant fucking like pots of water on their head and like carrying like big backpacks full of shit. Like you see like women doing this kind of grueling labor in those places as well, right? So yeah, basically the idea that women only take care of kid and that's it is more of a modern it's more recent historically. And again, I'm not saying that men did nothing. Sure, men actually it's a symbiotic relationship. Like I'm not saying that the men are useless in these situations. What I mean by men being expendable, I mean is biologically, right? But like there still was a lot of value that men brought to families, right? Like going to war, for instance, right? All of the men in a society wouldn't be focused on things like farming, if it was low efficiency, right? The plow and technology being invented requiring strength. The reason why men started farming is because it became more efficient, right? Because one man with a plow could take care of more farming than like a bunch of women, right? So then it became more valuable. But anyway, so like in situations like back in the day where there was war, the men had to train for war, right? Like think about like how war was back in the day. Like the men of prestige had to go to war and train for war, and if they didn't train for war, they died, right? So it was ultra devastating for men to not train for war. Best example would be Sparta. Yeah, Sparta. So women go out and pick the berries, fruit, hunting, vegetables. Men do the protection and the hunting. No, women also hunted. Actually, women hunted. Actually, there's an interesting study. Do you guys want to hear a really interesting study? So Malcolm talks about this study like in this video. And the study is that, did you guys know that birds are more afraid of women than men? Did you guys know about that? It's really interesting. Birds have a genetic hardwiring in their DNA that they're afraid of women more than men. And the reason why is because women fucking killed them. It's killed them forever. Anecdotally proven. They did a study. There's a study that like men are able to approach birds more than women. That I think it was pretty big too. I think it was like 3.5 meters or something like that. Like men were able to get 3.5 meters. Let me look up the exact number. But the number doesn't matter. But there was like a significant distance that men were able to get closer to birds than women. It was 1 meter, says pre-cruncher. 1 meter is still a lot, though. That's still a lot. 1 to 1.5 meters. Okay, so it's a little bit less than I said, but it's still a lot. But basically, in the study, men approaching birds and women approaching birds, the birds flew faster when it was a woman. And, of course, they controlled for speed and all of that stuff, right? They controlled for all that. And the thing is like what it shows is that there is a genetic reason, like a genetic hardwiring for birds, like an instinct, right? For them to flee when there was women. And it was because women actually hunted a lot of small game back in the day. Men mostly hunted big game. And like there were other historical accounts too, like where a lot of women died in the forest. Like historically, which doesn't make sense. If you were to make a case that women just stayed at home and took care of kids, then like why did so many women historically die in the woods, right? Where like they would be doing some activity in the woods and then they would die. And it's because women are also doing the hunting. And it makes sense too. Like it's another point that was brought up by Malcolm, is it makes sense that women would why wouldn't a woman like hunt a rabbit when they could? It doesn't make sense. Like, why wouldn't you? Right? Like, if you were like picking berries and you saw a rabbit, why would you not kill it to bring home food? Right? And some more interesting stuff about this is like there's other historical notes on this where they would set up houses in like medieval times. They had their houses set up so that fucking birds would like nest in the house, so the woman could just walk outside and grab them. So it's kind of interesting. There's a lot of like interesting historical information around this. Yeah, they would specifically bait they would make like a spot outside the house, right outside like the upstairs. The upstairs they would make a little thing where it's an optimal nesting spot, so that the birds could nest there and then the women could steal the eggs. How does it explain the fact that women have lesser spatial awareness? Lesser spatial awareness. Women have lesser spatial awareness compared to women? Men chase on elk in the prairies, women corner chickens in alleys. Yeah, basically. Men do the active hunting and women set traps. Yeah. Women did a lot of trapping and stuff like that. Yeah. It's great to know that women have helped so much. Yeah. So like, anyway, the point, like kind of to loop back to what I was talking about is like the idea that like the idea of like a woman that is like, I am the table, I'm everything. I don't provide any value to you except for I have kids and I take care of them at home. You do everything else is a modern invention, which is like really interesting to think about, right? Like it kind of flips everything when you think of it that way. But and then sorry, and it goes even further because like people will say, well, what about like the era of business, right? Because like you had commerce. Like the social technology of commerce happened, right? Where people started to run businesses, right? So like even in the cases of businesses, like there's historical, historical, what's the word? There's history behind this that take care of the craft, whereas women would take care of relationships and in terms of like businesses. Like they would handle like a lot of the books and stuff like that. Like women would still help their husband in like the business. It wasn't like the woman didn't do anything for the business. Like the man would be like a butcher and he would like butcher and then do like, product like relationships with other businesses and then like sell the stuff and then do all the bookkeeping for it. And then the woman would like literally do nothing. And like she would just take care of the kids and then like gossip with other women. Like that was not really the case. Women would also help with the business, but behind the scenes, obviously, right? They would take care of the stuff. They would be like a supplemental, they would supplement the business rather than doing nothing. Women are support class to the man's specialized career. Yeah, exactly. The way that the way it's been described is a sword and shield relationship where women are more defensive as far as like women take care of the basics and they make sure the basics are fulfilled, and the men try to elevate the entire status of the family by going for high risk, high reward scenarios, which will elevate the social standing of everybody in the family. Anyway, I thought that was a very, very interesting look. And if you want to watch this, I mean, this is a 1 hour episode on the whole thing here. So, see bird study, why birds fear women, evolutionary biology, plows, sword and shield relationship. Like it's all in here. And it's actually, oh yeah, hoes, by the way. That's why women were called hoes, by the way, because they did the farming. So they're called hoes. These guys are cool, but their videos are too long. Isn't that interesting that the modern depiction of like women being like, I don't do anything and all I do is take care of baby and then you do everything else is not even accurate historically. What do I like to cook? Everything. I can cook stuff from all over the world. I'm kind of crazy, honestly.